Hi beauties, welcome back to my channel Soul Vibes. It is Celinelizette here. Leave some love and support my channel by subscribing and leaving any comments and likes. Positive feedback is greatly appreciated. So today I'm going to be talking about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and honestly it was just an extremely painful, life-changing experience that I had. And yeah, I'm ready to talk about it because before I hadn't talked about it really to anyone except my closest friends. But I've come so far in my hair journey. Clearly where I'm at now, this is my natural hair. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about my horrible bleaching experience from when I went platinum blonde in 2018. So yeah, like I said, this is the progress that I've made so far. I used to have this is the first time in my life that I've ever had this short of hair. Like, I've always been a long hair person, and my hair has always been like somewhat thick. Sorry, my cat is going to make an appearance in my video. She tends to do that a lot, but bless you. And yeah, so my hair has always been kind of, like on the thinner side, but I've been told that I have a lot of hair, but not thick hair. So whatever. Anyways, my point is that I used to have really great hair. People always complimented how good my hair looked all the time. Like, it was long, and even though it wasn't the thickest, it still was like, pretty good hair. So yeah, it's been a journey, and when the bad bleaching experience happened, it was just like devastating to me. And I know that it can sound dramatic, but if you think about it, our hair is such a big part of our identity, and I just felt like I completely lost my, in addition to all the other things that was going on in my life. So, in other videos, I talk about how I did go through a depression, which kind of led to a spiritual awakening and how I'm on this spiritual journey. But yeah, the depression was because a lot of different parts of my life kind of came crumbling down. And for me, the physical part of my life, which was my hair getting botched, honestly, if there was a botched, bleached like hair show, I would be on it. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk about my hair journey and just share with you guys what happened and just how I'm so grateful now to be where I'm at. And this is, I'll just show you now, this is the leftover. So like this part, sorry for my really ghetto nails right now that are all messed up. But anyways, it just grew out. This is where it's at. I did dye it back brown, so but like I didn't have to bleach at all because obviously it was going from blonde to brown. So this was, or it used to be up here, but it grew out. So yeah, that's where it's at now. Now I'll move into the story, how it started, and yeah. Okay, so let me just start off by saying, I bleached my hair a total of 3 times. It wasn't until the 3rd time that things started going really wrong, and honestly over like half my hair ended up falling off because of it. Some say that it was the stylist's fault, while others have told me like they would have done something similar in that time frame, and they said maybe it's just the color of my hair. Like, some people with such dark hair like mine, and even if it's not this dark, some people's hair just can't handle it. So I'm kind of coming down to that conclusion, like maybe it's just that my hair couldn't handle the bleach. I don't know. In the past, I have done highlights before, and even doing that kind of killed my hair. Like, it was damaging, but nothing like my hair falling off. So that's just the background I wanted to give beforehand. But to start, I first bleached my hair in July of 2018. I was going for that, really white / silvery look that was very in 2018. And so, I've seen a lot of people with dark hair go all the way to that color. They were able to transition to that color with no problem. And I see them, wearing their hair up, wearing braids and stuff. But the thing is, I didn't know that a lot of those girls are wearing extensions. And even my hairstylist, who at the time, I mean, I'm no longer in contact with her. She ended up blocking me because I did mention how I dyed my hair back brown, and I didn't go to her after, everything that's happened and what happened with the hair falling off and stuff. I no longer trust her, but because of that, she blocked me, so whatever, it's fine. So she had dark hair just like I did, almost the same exact color, and she went to the color that I wanted. So that's why I got inspired to do it, because I was like, okay, I trust her, and she's always been my stylist. So I was inspired by her hair, but little did I know that she had been wearing extensions as well. And she didn't tell me that until after like all the horrible stuff happened. So when I told her I was going to wear extensions, she was like, oh yeah, you know, like that's what I do. All the girls who dye their hair this color usually have to chop their hair short and wear extensions. So she didn't tell me that until after. I really wish she would have told me that. But anyways, moving on. So yeah, I first dyed it in July, and I had achieved a color. It was the first, you know, time that I had bleached it blonde. So we went for like 10 hours straight in the salon, and she, you know, she ended up getting a pretty good like brassy gold color. And then, you know, the first time, like I said, it was fine. My hair was still the same thickness. However, it did get really dry. And, you know, that was normal. That was expected. I knew, I had been told several times by different people that you weren't going to be able to run your hands through it like, you know, how I was able to before. And it was going to feel really like dry and dead. And so it did, but I still didn't think, you know, it was that bad. And after the first time, even though I didn't like the color, I knew, you know, that was just the first session. So I ended up keeping that color until, you know, the second time that I bleached my hair, which was in August, like late August. In between that time, between July and August, I was pretty much doing like, you know, masks every, I think I only washed my hair about twice a week, maybe 3 times. And, you know, I was doing a lot of masks. The one that I used was a argan oil, or I'm sorry, Moroccan oil one. It's a blue container. That's the one that she gave me. And so I would leave that on, you know, and also I would use the Pravana like purple hair mask conditioner. I wouldn't use a purple shampoo. I just used a conditioner. And then I can't remember what shampoo I used. I remember it was sulfate free though. At that point I started using sulfate free. And I think I used one from Shea Moisture that was like restoring, had apple cider vinegar. So I'll try to get pictures. But yeah, those were some of the products that I was using. And I was upkeeping it like how she was telling me to do it. I used a wet brush. I would still put my hair in ponytails, but I wouldn't use like a scrunchie anymore. I would use an actual clip. And yeah, so, you know, nothing bad had happened, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, it's just a lot more dead than it used to be, but it was expected, and I just kept putting like coconut oil and different oils on it. So then the next time that I bleached my hair was in July, and this was when we achieved a color that I really, really liked. It was beautiful. I got a lot of compliments on it, and no joke, I was turning heads. Like, it was pretty cool. I hadn't felt like, I don't know, they do say blondes have more fun, and I had a pretty good amount of fun when it was good. And so yeah, it stayed this way from July until November. I'm sorry, the end of September is when I dyed it again. And so in between that time, it was a very short-lived, like, beautiful moment. But I was using the Pravana. Oh, I didn't mention, but I had also been using It's a 10, I had been using It's a 10, the spray that you put on after you get out of the shower. Also argan oil or Moroccan oil, anything like for hydration and restoring. I used a whole bunch of different stuff and different masks, honestly. So, so yeah, I did that in between the time from my second bleaching to my third bleaching. But it was beautiful, and the problem that or maybe a huge mistake that I made was that I did straighten it like twice, and this was shortly before I bleached it again. Another mistake that I used was that I used a shampoo that is like to make your hair more purple. It wasn't purple shampoo. It was basically, if you wanted it to stay more silvery, like, you use this shampoo. And so I did that, and my hairstylist told me like to be careful with those because the chemical in it, if you end up doing something in your hair soon after, like, it can literally catch on. She said like catch on fire or just like fry off. I don't know. So I did use that, but I didn't see her for like weeks after that. So I don't know if that had any effect. I'm sure it was damaging at some, you know, in some degree. And then how I was styling it, I wouldn't blow dry it. I most of the time would let it air dry, but every so often I would blow dry it, and then I would curl it, but very, very low heat and just like a quick curl. So yeah, those were the happy days of when I had my bleached hair. And then soon after, that's when my whole life changed, and I kind of went into a depression because of what happened. What happened was that I dyed it for the third time, and she said, you know, we were just doing a touch-up, and so I was like, okay, that should be fine. But my mom had told me, she was like, Celine, like, I really don't think you should go do it. Always listen to your mom. That's what I've learned from these situations, or at least 90% of the time when it comes to hair, especially. So I was like, you know, like, she's a hairstylist, she knows what she's doing, but yeah, whatever. So I went to go get it touched up, And basically it was the roots, because, you know, with my hair being this dark and my hair grows pretty fast, it was time to, you know, like it was just two different tones. So I go into the salon and she bleaches it. And when she bleached it, like, you know, nothing seemed off, nothing seemed bad. I did feel like there was kind of a burning sensation on like the top of my head, but like, I don't know, it didn't feel abnormal or anything. I wasn't in pain. I didn't notice until later, right before I was leaving the salon, that I put my hair over like this, and I noticed some were sticking up, like just like a few, and she didn't even tell me anything. I remember I was like, what is this? And then she was like, oh, like, and you know, she obviously was frazzled, and she was like, yeah, like a little bit broke off, but it's okay, that happened to me too. And she was like, just use pomade and you could stick it down like this, but it's not noticeable at all. So she was like downplaying it. She didn't even tell me that part of my hair had already broken off. But I remember it was really small, and it was able to be like hidden really easily. Like I just would flip my hair over, which is kind of how I wear my hair like naturally. You know, I kind of style it like this anyways. So I didn't really care, but I remember thinking like, okay, what the hell, that's weird. So then, you know, it still looked fine, but soon after, within like a day or two that I showered, this is what happened. Like my hair started falling out in clumps in the shower. And I remember like, oh my God, like I've never seen that amount of hair fall out. I started freaking out. I took a picture of it. I sent it to her. And I remember like that day I looked at my hair and it was like, oh my God, like it looks like there's a lot less. Obviously half of it didn't fall out then and there. Like I did have a lot of hair, but it was still a huge amount of hair that fell out. And so I started crying. I took a picture and sent it to her, and she said something like, you know, I have the text messages, but she was just like, okay, like, you know, don't panic type of thing. And she was like, I'm not sure, you know, why that's happening, but yeah, let me just like, we'll get you some products. So at that point, she's backpedaling and she wants to send me some products. She did, which was nice and everything, but like, hello, that's my freaking hair that came off. So, you know, I just felt like that day was the day, actually it was the next day, the morning I looked at my hair and I was just like, oh my God, like, who am I? What just happened? Like, it was really, really ugly. How I felt was just ugly. Like I can't explain it. It's not like even that I looked that bad, but I remember it was like your identity kind of feels like it was like, or it felt like it was being stripped away from me, because I was just like, my hair is my everything, and right now, like, I don't know. I was just really scared that more and more was going to keep falling out. But the good thing is that, you know, even though that happened and it was really affecting me, it still was covered. Like I was able to cover it. So when I was at work and stuff, like people never noticed anything. From that point on, I kind of just wore my hair up. It was half up, half down, like all the time. And that is what was able to hide the little parts sticking up. And, you know, things were fine for a few months, but I remember I was still very cautious of how much hair I was losing in the shower. Like I would constantly look to see, you know, every time I took a shower, which my hairstylist at that point, after I had showed her the pictures of the very first time that the clumps were there, she told me like, okay, at this point, don't wash your hair more than twice a week. Make sure you're doing the masks and stuff, and like just the same stuff that I had already been doing. At that point, I was just like, I barely even want to wash. Like I don't want to wash my hair more than once a week. But yeah, so there wasn't really much more that I started doing, except I did try doing more like protein masks and stuff. I didn't use Olaplex. I actually didn't like how, I kind of felt like with Olaplex #2, which is the one that I had, I felt like there was times where I would lose more hair with that, so I kind of just didn't use that. Honestly, I used so many different ones that were all for repairing and restorative stuff. So one of them that I really liked was the Palmer's coconut oil conditioner, and then also the repair mask. So I would use that constantly. I used that mostly last year actually, and then so 2019, which I'll get into in a second, but I really used that one and it really felt good on my hair. Another thing that I use, it's a 10 mask, not only the after spray that you put on your hair like after you get out of the shower, but also there's a mask that they have, and I used that one as well. Like I used all sorts of different masks. It was kind of a while ago, so I can't remember like how much I used, but or like, you know, what my routine was. There was times that I would do like, I should have done this more, but I felt like the homemade masks that I did were really helpful. Like I would do egg in the shower. Like I would put egg and make a mask out of that. If you look up like homemade remedies for bleached hair or, you know, to strengthen your hair. I did for hair loss actually. So, and that's the thing, like the hair that was falling was all the bleached hair. It wasn't like it was from my scalp, but the thing is, it's like my hair slowly was just getting, you know, thinner and thinner. I was still able to hide it well. Like I said, I would wear my hair like half up, half down all the time. And then by the time January came around to June of last year is when, like, slowly over that time frame, it all fell off except for a few strands in the front and a few strands in the back. So, you know, I'll show this picture to demonstrate. But it's like as the top of my hair was growing out, I don't understand why the bottom part started falling out. And I was still up keeping the masks. Maybe, you know, I could have done better on my nutrition, but I wasn't eating like absolutely terrible or anything. And I was even taking a lot of a lot of hair vitamins. So I would take Viviskill, and that one helped me, you know, like I didn't want my hair to fall out from the top either. I know this is for thinning hair, but either way, I was just trying to help my hair out as much as possible, and I didn't want it to seem thinner at the top. So I did Viviskill. I did, most recently, I take Hair La Vie. I'm still taking it. I don't take it as often, but Hair La Vie was one that really helped. And then I was still taking biotin. So I was doing a lot for my hair, and you know, it was really expensive. It was terrible, honestly, because even though I got all these products, it didn't really help all that much. I mean, I guess it could have been worse because all of the hair could have fallen off like in one shot or even in the course of 1 month. If that had happened, I wouldn't have been able to hide it. And so, yeah, so I guess I'm grateful that maybe the products did help in the way that they did. But in the end, my hair, once like the natural hair grew out to here, like I said, most of it fell off except for a few strands. So at that point, around June is when I started wearing extensions. So that helped me out a little bit. I don't know, you know, if maybe that's why I started losing more again, like more of the bleach started coming off, because you know, I was in sales, I worked in corporate world, so presentation in front of customers all the time, like, was everything. So I would wear extensions and then I would curl my hair. And so I started doing my hair a lot more, because if I didn't mention, from September, from when the clumps were falling out, to December, I pretty much stopped doing any sort of like styling, any sort of heat stuff to my hair, just because it was so damaged looking. But then by the time I got into my new position at work, which was in January, I had to look more presentable. So that's why I started doing my hair again. And then even though, you know, for the most part, like the days that I didn't have customer meetings, I would put my hair in like a bun and stuff. And I would always wear it with a clip. I wouldn't wear like tight braids. I wouldn't wear anything with scrunchies, but yeah, that's what I was doing. So then when I started curling my hair again, I think that's when more of it started falling off. But I didn't really care because I was wearing the extensions as well, mostly for big events. And I got them from Sally's, but they were pretty good quality, around like $200 and something. And yeah, they were the clip-in ones. June is when I dyed my hair brown. And at that point, that kind of saved it. I felt like it got more revived. You know, it looked like I had an ombre for a while, and people were like, "Oh, like, did you get an ombre?" Like, it looks so much healthier already. You know, it still was damaged, of course, but it looked a lot healthier than when I had it just the blonde with my roots. And I never like toned it again. I never touched it up again after September when the clumps were happening. So yeah, I just pretty much let it grow out. And then when I dyed my hair brown, I started wearing different extensions, still the same brand, but obviously I needed to get dark brown because my hair, you know, that's what matched with it. And that's what I had done from June until like this year. This year, I actually decided, since, you know, we were in quarantine and stuff, I knew I wasn't going to be going out as much anymore, so I wanted to stop wearing extensions as much as possible. So I decided to just cut the strands myself. The little strands that were left, the strongest ones, I cut myself. And yeah, and then after that, I ended up getting one haircut, which was just like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. But this was the end product. This is where my hair is at now. Sorry, I just got cut off because my sister called me. But yeah, what I was saying was, so In all, I would never bleach my hair again. Going blonde, like, it was really cool having one good blonde experience that lasted only for like 2 months or whatever. But yeah, it just wasn't worth it. You know, now my hair, I think it's still going to be as thick as before I had it blonde. I honestly can't remember. Like, I'll know once my hair grows out to its full length, like if it's the same, if it's thinner than what it used to be. But regardless, now I just use an anti-thinning shampoo. I use Nioxin because at one point from January to all the way until I quit my job in June, which I have a video on, I was extremely stressed, which is why I went through depression last year. I think the stress and the depression that I went through while I was at my job really impacted my hair. And luckily now I feel like, you know, there was hair loss, but for me, like I said, I noticed my hair very like quickly if something is up. Obviously after the whole blonde experience and all the falling out, I was more keen to noticing. I've been using an anti-thinning shampoo, which is Nioxin, and then I still take my hair vitamins. I now take Sugar Bear hair, so I'm not noticing like a huge amount of hair growth or anything. I've only taken that for about a few weeks, so I'm still testing those out. But yeah, other than that, you know, I do straighten my hair now again, because like this is my normal hair, you know, it's not the bleached hair anymore except for the very bottom. So I'm no longer scared to use heating, you know, I try not to as much as possible, but I don't get scared that it's gonna break off like it did before. Just wanted to tell you guys about my experience doing that. It really was completely like life-changing. I didn't know how much of an impact that would have on my life, because like I said, it was one of the main factors that really kind of broke me. And even though my foundation was not strong, like my core, who I was at my core, like I didn't have a strong foundation, so it needed to come crumbling down. But this was one of the factors that had that or made that happen, aside from, you know, a toxic relationship, a really bad job, me not knowing what the hell I wanted to do with my life. And yeah, so to say the least, this was the physical part, you know, physical appearance part that shattered me. So I just wanted to give you guys some insight. Be careful if you bleach your hair. Make sure you go to a stylist that is, you know, pretty experienced with that, has good reviews. Mine, I knew, you know, she had hair like that, but I ended up finding out that she isn't the best colorist out there. Other people have had issues with her, won't throw shade her way, but yeah, so just make sure you pick a good colorist and someone who can guide you in the process and what you need to do. Regardless, if you bleach your hair, I am wishing you well. I hope that it goes extremely well for you and you do not go through the experience that I went through. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Please leave some love and like my video if you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, peace, love, and soul vibes.